Which modern stereotype do you feel is the most prevalent in today's films?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Definitely the magic Negro stereotype. Denzel Washington, he seems to play that role a lot.
Mm.
That one film, well, the one film with the train, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, like he was the magic Negro in that one.
And Flight was the other.
Flight, definitely. Yeah, he plays that role a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's definitely the abundance of like the Coons and the Tom stereotype, but there's a kind of new stereotype that's out, and I don't know what that's called, but it's where they always get black men to dress up like women.
What springs to mind when you hear the word stereotype?
Well, so stereotypes is funny because while there's always some truth to it, right? There's also this like limitation to it as well. So I think about the fact that there is a little bit of truth to it, but it's also some non-truth to it as well. And we went into it when I showed you guys that clip of that woman, the Nigerian woman who talks about the single story, right? Stereotypes, they create that single story for groups of people. Yeah.
Do you think, just briefly on top of it, do you think it consists of ignorance? I mean, though it has truth, does it consist of ignorance at the same time?
Well, yes and no. You know, like, it's created from something, so I do think it has some truth in it, but it does definitely have some ignorance into it because stereotypes are always dramatic and they're like overly done. They're like, they take it to like the 10th level, you know. So the Medea character, like, you know, Tyler Perry's always like, well, everybody has a Medea in their family. I'm like, I don't have a Medea in my family.
Right.
I don't know a black person that has a Medea in their family. I don't have women like that in my family, you know. So they're always just overdone and just way too dramatic.
In your experience with film and TV, have you ever encountered blacks being stereotyped?
So, you mean in my experience as a producer?
Yeah.
So, no, just because like I was doing more so like reality television, but yes, because I knew about it. You know, like I knew about the disparities that were going on in film and television because I worked in it, but no, not because I was like upfront close with it, but just because I knew friends who, you know, couldn't get certain jobs or whatever, couldn't get certain scripts. I still have friends who can't get certain stories made or scripts made or whatever, can't get money raised to do their stories. So yes, in that sense.
Do you believe that the world perceives African Americans as they are depicted in films?
Yes. When I lived in France, I don't know if I told the story to your class, when I lived in France, like, people actually thought because I was black that I automatically knew how to dance, automatically knew how to sing really well, that I knew famous black people in this country, that I was into hip-hop music. You know, yeah. They believe that crap. So, yeah, so again, that speaks to how dangerous that can be. Even the non-black people believe it. Like, even, I mean, yeah, even the, I mean, not the non-black, the non-white people believe it. When I was in France, I dated a guy who was from the Cameroon, you know, and, you know, he wanted me to be just like Brandy, you know, and it just, so even, it's not just white people, it's, you know, the non-white people as well who buy into that too.
Do you think it is okay for an African American to portray these stereotypes just for a paycheck?
No. No. I think black people in Hollywood need to really take like a revolutionary stand on that. And there are some that do. Like Dave Chappelle was the reason why he probably doesn't work anymore. One, because he got sick of Hollywood and he refused to put on a dress. Yeah. So I definitely think they need to stop doing that.
If you could, I mean, could you go further as to why? I mean, why do you think it's...
Because we will never be able to see a balance of our stories told, right? Like a lot of, like, so like my mom, right? I have discussions with this about my mom, because like I don't really, I watch Tyler Perry's movies, but I don't really like them, right?
Of course.
So, you know, she says, yeah, but we don't have anything else on the screen. And it's like, well, what's that? I'd rather see nothing on the screen as opposed to seeing some of the junk that's on the screen now. You know, but we'll never ever get to that point where we'll be able to see a balance of stories that reflect our communities if we continue to produce stories like that. Because Hollywood is green, it's all about money. So they're just like, well, this is what makes money. So they don't really take a chance on anything that doesn't make money. So it's not like they're being racist, they're just being business people, you know. Maybe some racism in that too, but they're really just being very business minded. So, no, I think that we control our destiny by not buying into a system that reflects stereotypes, and not buying into a system that's telling us what stories that we can only tell. Yeah.
In your opinion, out of all the black films you've seen throughout your life, which had the most degrading character and why?
Out of all of the stereotypes, probably the one with, well, I would say two. The one with black men putting on a dress because it emasculates black men.
Right.
Right, and then also the independent black woman, because that also defeminizes black women.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and why?
Well, because it's that, to me, that has a direct effect on our culture. You know, like we need strong men, right? And we need feminine women, right? We don't you know, that's how you have a family unit. And in most cultures all over the world, you have strong men, you have very feminine women, right? You have men who provide and bring home the bacon, you have women who take care of the home. Not saying women can't work and men can't take care of children, but like that's how cultures, societies, and civilizations have thrived, by having a balance between the sexes. So you would have, when you have emasculated men, and when you have women going out to work and bringing, you know, being the breadwinner of the family, it creates an imbalance.
I'm going to read off certain stereotypes, and I'm just going to ask you for your opinion. So the first one we have is, what do you know about the Uncle Tom stereotype character?
The Uncle Tom stereotype character, so I think they think that the modern day Uncle Tom is like the Bill Cosby. Supposedly he's like, I think, the modern day Uncle Tom. Yeah.
Would be Bill Cosby. Okay. What do you know about the Magic Negro stereotype?
That like that's well, no, it's not a new stereotype. That it's that guy who comes in and he saves and rescues all the white people, and sometimes he puts his own life in jeopardy for that.
True. What do you know about the Mammy character?
She's the one that takes care of all the white people and sometimes doesn't take care of her own children, or we don't even know that she has children. She's also desexualized, so she has no like sexual nature to her whatsoever. We don't know if she's married or anything. She's a one-dimensional. All of these stereotypes are just one-dimensional stereotypes.
Okay. One-dimensional overall. What do you know about the victim to society stereotype character?
I don't know too much about that, but what comes to mind is like Good Times to me was like that. That show Good Times. Because it was like no matter what. I remember I used to be sitting on the edge of my seat every single time I watched the Good Times. I was like, oh, they're about to get out of the ghetto. And then something would happen.
Right.
So that's what that reminds me of.
Okay. What do you know about the welfare queen?
I don't see that too much.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see that stereotype too much.
Okay. What do you know about the independent black woman?
So that's a character that
right.
that really hurts the black community. That's a character that if there's any more truth to it in terms of how those characters overlap into our community, that's a character that I see that overlaps into our community.
Yeah. What do you know about the blackface stereotype?
Oh, the blackface?
Yeah.
I mean, I know Amos and Andy, I think, were the first
right.
characters that did that. And it continues to be done. There was a club in LA where a comedian by the name of Ted Danson, he did a comedy act and he put on blackface, and it was like this. It was called the Friars Club. There was this big controversy over it and stuff. So, I mean, of course, that's not done too much anymore, but Birth of a Nation was the first film that was done with. Was the first film? I think it was the first film done where it was all white people portraying slaves and black people and stuff.
And yeah, and just to add on to it, because I didn't know that it was still around.
Mm-hmm.
So then this at the one at the Friars Club that took
Mm-hmm.
place how long ago?
I think that was in like maybe like in the early '90s. We could look it up. As Ted Dancer. He played on the TV show Cheers, and he was dating Whoopi Goldberg at the time that it happened. So she got a lot of heat from it too, you know. So it was just a little, yeah, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just comedy, you know.